Hello YouTube friends, and welcome back to my channel. If you're on here, you probably already follow me on Instagram because I told you guys I was going to be posting a Q&A, and I promised I would do a physique update for you guys as we are 18 days out from NPC North American Championships. And yes, I'm very excited, but I'm tired. But I'm excited to get on here and answer some questions for you guys because you guys asked a lot of really good questions. So let's get started. Jess328, and she says, how do you have such a good acceptance of your reverse diet weight? Great question. And it's definitely not easy transitioning from being super lean and trying to see the scale go down to seeing the scale go up, seeing those lines disappear. Everybody wants abs, everybody loves abs, but honestly, in my opinion, they're overrated. And I love food, to be honest, so I think the acceptance of my off-season weight gain came way earlier than I think my motivation to get back into the gym, which is weird. Coming off of Miami Nationals, we knew that we needed to bring my legs down a little bit, and we didn't want to grow a whole lot, so I wasn't really sure how to approach my training. I do my own training, and Paul gives me my macros, so I was a little bit lost. I'll be honest, I was a little bit lost in the gym, but as far as the weight gain, I didn't mind it. What I noticed that I did not know before was that I carry a lot of weight in my glutes and in my thighs, so to fill out my pants again was kind of nice. And yeah, just knowing and accepting that it's part of the process, I think definitely helps a ton. I think that if you are just putting on weight to just be putting on weight and not really understanding why or the benefits of adding weight in your off season, then I could see why it would be hard to accept it. But definitely has to take it one day at a time too, because there are definitely going to be good days and there are going to be days where you are just like, wow, I really don't like the way I look today, and you have to just know that it's part of the process, it's necessary. And again, being lean is overrated. Like, yes, I like the shred. Who doesn't like being shredded? The shreds are very cool, they're impressive to look at, but one thing I do miss is having energy throughout the day. After like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I am like useless to the world, and that's not fun. I'm no fun to be around anymore. My poor boyfriend, I have been so snappy and like emotional. I can honestly cry at like the drop of a dime. Those things are just, you don't get those really when you're, at a healthy weight. So you just kind of have to weigh out the pros and cons, I think, too, mentally. So I hope that answered your question. Next question is Selma33211, and she asked upper glute development. So my biggest piece of advice for trying to develop any part of your body is mind muscle connection and really feeling that contraction. I know it's very impressive to want to lift a lot of weight, and lift heavy, and yes, it is necessary to an extent, but it's only useful if you're contracting the right muscles and you're getting the right engagement. If you're lifting 300 pounds, if you have 300-pound hip thrust, that's cool, but if you're using mostly quads and hamstrings and like no glutes, then you're not really going to see what you want to see, and you're not going to get out of it what you want to get out of it. So I think for me, my favorite exercises for upper glute development or maintenance is cable kickbacks, but modified. I don't do the total range of motion from, kicking my leg all the way back. I stand pretty much straight up when I do them. and it's a very limited range of motion because that's where I find the best contraction. And I think goblet squats, also limited range of motion for me, because I'm not really trying to develop much more of my hamstrings, and if I go past a certain extent, I will get a lot of hamstring activation, and that's not what I want. So just have to pay attention to what exercises you feel like you get the best activation from for the areas that you want to see development from. No one can really tell you what exercises those are, only because they only know what works for them. You have to find out what works for you. Like squats. I don't squat anymore, ever. I will not touch, I don't really like axial loading, which is when you have a load that comes from top to bottom. I don't get the best glute engagement from that, but one of my teammates or someone that I know might love squats for glute development. It just all depends. Next question, how do you deal with thoughts of not training hard enough? And this is a great question because I've definitely been there, and it's not an easy thing to get over mentally, because you see these girls lifting super duper heavy, super hard, loading and training super hard, and I'm personally someone that loves to kill myself in the gym. But if you have a goal of getting on stage and you have physique goals, you have to check your ego at the door. Like, you cannot carry that into the gym and say, you know what, forget it, I'm just gonna go and squat 200 pounds, I'm gonna go, curl, I wanna curl 50s, whatever it is. You need to be training specifically for your goals. And this was something I struggled with, like I said, after Miami Nationals. The goal was to kind of more maintain my upper body but bring my lower body down. And I felt so lost in the gym because I was like, I need to pull back. I'm someone genetically that puts on muscle a little easier than others might. And so that's something that I have to be careful of, because once we started adding food after nationals, I started putting on muscle like that, and we really had to kind of just be like, okay, let's just calm down and see if we can't just maintain this for a while. And I stopped training legs completely. And I think I got a question about bringing my legs down, so I will save that for that question. But you really just have to check your ego at the door, and it's not about lifting the most weight at that point. It's just about sculpting your body and getting the results you want. Whatever that takes, you just have to do it. Can you talk about your very first show and the whole experience? I loved my first show. I honestly went in there with no expectations. I still go on shows with no expectations, but I literally was just there to have fun and enjoy the experience. And I met some really awesome people and made some friends backstage, and that was, a show that I was like, you know what, I could be really good at this. I definitely wasn't lean enough, and I don't think it very rarely is anyone ever lean enough for their first show, but I just had fun. And that's honestly the more important part, especially when you're getting on stage for the first time. You never want to go into a show thinking, I'm going to win this. No matter what anybody says to you, you just want to go in there, soak it all in, take notes, observe, meet people, and really just soak in the whole experience so that you can take that into the next time you get on stage. It's all a learning process and all a learning experience. So just take from it what you can, and you either decide, I love this, I'm going to do this, or this really wasn't for me, and that's fine. Next question from Andy Candy. Oh, both questions were from Andy Candy. Things you would have done differently. I'm assuming that means things I would have done differently from my first show. To be honest, and this might be like a super cliche, lame answer, but I don't think I would have done anything differently. I did my research as far as, you know, the posing, the hair, the makeup. Obviously, again, like I said, I wasn't lean enough for my first show, but I just wanted to get on stage. I wanted to see what the experience was like. I practiced my posing. It definitely wasn't what it is today, but it was the best for what I was prepared to do that day, and that's fine. I think everything that I experienced in the last year and getting on stage for the first time was all a learning experience, and I think that if I had experienced anything a little differently, I might not be where I am today, working with Paul, even knowing the people that I know now through my team and the shows that I've done. So I don't think I would have done anything differently. I think I'm very grateful for the experiences and lessons that I've learned throughout this whole process. Training, specifically how to build your upper body to match your lower body. Again, great question, because I had to do that. Excuse me. Let me just grab some coffee. Okay. So if you are trying to match your upper body to your lower body, but your lower body is where it needs to be as far as size, train your upper body and go hard. Work on maintaining your lower body, but don't train your lower body as hard as your upper body, I think. Also, do not quote me on this. This is just from my experiences, and I'm answering these to the best of my knowledge. So just take all of this with a grain of salt. Personally, for me, I did a lot of maintenance work. So mostly accessory work. I didn't really do a whole lot of compound movements in my off season for my lower body, and for my upper body, I went hard, especially for my back, and not so much for my shoulders, only because they are pretty much the size that I needed them to be. But I definitely wanted to build up some lats so I could create a little bit more of a shape and taper in my specific mandatory poses. If you are a bikini girl, which I think you are because it's what it looks like in your thumbnail, do that. And then if your lower body is really dominant for your upper body, but your upper body is there, then I would just kind of maintain your upper body and then work on bringing your lower body down, and just kind of really pulling back on the training style and pulling back on the intensity, which is something that I had to do, and it wasn't easy. It's not mentally easy because you feel like you're not doing enough, but you just have to do what you have to do. And if you have a coach or someone that does your training, just talk that through with your coach. If you do your own training, it's all going to be trial and error as well. There's never really going to be one specific solid answer, but that's the best advice that I have. Focus on your upper body, train it, build it, grind, freaking go hard at it, and just hold back on your lower body. Just do more maintenance and accessory work. How do you transition from an off-season diet to prep? So, and this one is from Casey Hill. So, transitioning from off-season to prep is definitely hard if you aren't really ready. I think some people want to jump right back into a prep, not for all the right reasons, if that makes sense. By that I mean they want to jump into prep because they don't want to gain any more weight. They're afraid of putting more weight on. They're afraid of their off-season body. They're afraid of the off-season weight gain, and they just want the shreds back. Post-show blues is definitely a thing. Coming off of a season, you're getting, a little bit more attention. You're getting on stage. The stage can be very addicting. you're loving the shreds, and you just want to get back on stage and feel all of that again. And I think if you're jumping back into prep for those reasons, it's going to be really, really hard mentally, because it might be fine for the first few weeks, but then when it starts to get hard and you have to up that cardio and drop the calories, you're going to realize, I really don't want to commit to this. I don't want to do this. I shouldn't have done this. And that was something I had to consider, because we were thinking of jumping into a prep pretty much right after Christmas to be ready for Junior USA's in May. And we decided, you know what, no, we're not going to do that. I was excited to get back on stage this year, but I didn't feel like I was missing out on prepping. I was enjoying eating food. I was enjoying being a little more social, going out, having energy, feeling good. So I think once you're ready to really flip that switch, there's just going to be no question whether you're ready to transition or not. If the question is transitioning into off-season diet versus prep diet, with regards to food, I pretty much eat the same things that I eat in my off-season. I just eat less of it. I love the foods that I'm eating, so there's really no huge transition as far as what I'm eating. It's just less. And like not super in control of my emotions, because I'm definitely someone, I like to be very self-aware. And so to have these moments where like literally just anything could just make me like snap and make my blood boil for no reason is frustrating and annoying, especially when sometimes if I end up taking it out on my boyfriend, it makes me feel really bad, because I never want him to like dread my prep because I'm no fun to be around. We never really get into many arguments like at all, so yeah, to have that, just, it's annoying. So that's probably it. As far as like food and cravings and stuff, I don't even entertain it or think about it. It's just not where I want to put my energy. So that's that. For my food sources, protein, shrimp. My body loves shrimp. It digests it very easily, digests it very well. It doesn't make me bloat, so that's why I eat shrimp. Or scallops. If I'm balling that week and I get paid and I want some scallops, I'll go blow a stack on some scallops. And burgers. Love me a good burger. And eggs. Carbs, cream of rice, jasmine rice. I don't do sweet potatoes. I don't do any like very fibrous veggies or carbs, because my body does not like it at all. It will like, my stomach will like literally be out to here. And my favorite fats, almond butter, love almond butter, and avocados, and eggs actually. If I need help hitting my fats for the day, instead of just egg whites, I'll do eggs with my food. So, what rep ranges do you usually work? What rep ranges do you usually work with? How many exercises do you usually do per body part? So it all depends on, it really all depends. There's no like solid answer for me. I do a lot of auto-regulated training, which means that I go based off of how my body's feeling. I do typically have rep ranges as far as upper body goes. For my shoulders and arms, I'll do usually between like 15 and 20 rep ranges, because I don't typically go very heavy and I want to get in there and burn some calories. There may be a couple exercises if I go heavier. I'll do like 10 to 12, but very rarely do I do that with arms and shoulders. With back, I will do around 10 to 12 reps. And sets usually 3 to 4, it depends on the exercise. As far as my glutes, it depends. Again, if I'm doing compound movements like hip thrusts or RDLs, I'll do around 10 to 12 as well. Sometimes even 8 to 10 if I'm going that heavy, which I haven't in a while. If I'm doing accessory movements like kickbacks or band work or things like that, I will do like around 15 to 20. So, and we're almost done. Next set of questions. Have you felt hard your improvement season? Thinking, push the food, workout mindset. I don't understand this question. I'm sorry. And love your content so much. Thank you. Do you set your workouts or does your coach? I do my own workout plans, and Paul gives me my macros, my protein, carbs, and fats. And it's just worked out for us, so we just keep it like that. Meal plan or flexible dieting? Flexible dieting. I have tried meal plans, and I don't think there's anything wrong with meal plans. I just know that it's not sustainable for me, and it's not what works best for me. Alright, so I'm not sure exactly where it cut off. My camera got too hot, so I had to take a little break. But I know that the last question I was talking about was flexible dieting or meal plans, and I do flexible dieting, and I explained why. So how do you get past a weight loss plateau? So the best piece of advice I have for this question is to actually go over to my coach Paul Ravella's YouTube channel and listen to his advice, because honestly anything that he says is going to be 10 times better than what I say. Or go to Redefine Healthy Radio podcast and listen to them, because they've talked about this. Him and I believe Lauren Conlon talked about this one. But actually, for this prep, I've been lucky enough to not hit a weight loss plateau, which has blown my mind completely out of my head, because I was expecting to hit one way before now. But I think with the combination of just keeping me fed and like with refeeds, and my supplements, taking Core Bolic and Core Hard, the way I was taking it, I take 2 Core Bolic at night with 3 Core Hard, and the weight was just like falling off. And I think just taking the time off that we took off and adding food, we got pretty aggressive with how much food I was eating, and I got honestly a little uncomfortable close to the end of my off season. I think just put my body in a really good position to just prep. I don't even really know what, I am not complaining, because obviously my body just really loved whatever we did this year. But I would go check out those videos in that podcast and let them tell you, because they will tell you better than I will. Tips on leaning out the legs. Trying to get my quads smaller for next season. Girl, I got you, because I did the same thing. So as far as bringing them down and leaning them out, women naturally hold weight in their hips, their thighs, and I think one of my troubled areas is the low back. So one of the things I did after Miami was I did not train legs. Well, actually, I haven't trained legs since like this time last year. So it's pretty much been a whole year since I haven't trained legs. I train glutes, and I do very specific movements so that my legs are pretty much out of the equation, especially my quads. So any movements that I feel engage my quads, I don't do them at all. Like not even body weight. Like a little obsessive, but it's fine. I actually remember I was working at this venue, and I had to keep taking the stairs up and down from this tower, which is where I was sitting, and I would literally walk up sideways so that my quads didn't do like any of the work, because I was walking up and down them that much. I didn't want I didn't want them to be engaged at all. As far as leaning them out, if you're having trouble, like if you're getting leaner and you're finding that your like legs aren't really coming down, you just have to keep working at losing weight, because unfortunately we can't choose where we hold and store fat, and there are going to be those areas that are just going to be a pain in the butt to get down. For me, it's my lower back, and this year it's kind of a little bit by my inner thighs. But as far as bringing them down muscular wise, I stopped training them completely, and they've atrophied beautifully, in my opinion. Very proud. What made this prep different from last year? Love this question. Shout out to Carolyn. I think my mindset was very, very different coming into this prep this year. Last year was my first year competing. I didn't really know exactly what it was I was getting myself into, and I was just prepping and enjoying the process and kind of just really having fun. I went into Miami Nationals like, you know, I'm excited about this, we're gonna have fun. And this year I'm not focused on anything else but bringing my absolute best to the stage this year. Obviously, shooting for national shows, my end goal is to get my pro card. But at the end of the day, I'm not thinking about treats, post-show treats. Not even thinking about it. I haven't really even gone on any of the like treat sites on Instagram. I muted all of them, so I don't see them. When they're on my Explore page, I don't click on them. I just keep scrolling, because y'all know that the second you click on a treat on your Explore page, your whole Explore page is going to be full of treats, cookies, whatever. I don't give any of my cravings like energy, and it's funny because I really haven't had any cravings this year for this prep, like at all. My mind has really just been focused on killing my prep, going hard on my cardio, getting my lifts in, hitting my macros, getting my water in, and just staying focused. Physique wise, it was a complete 180 from last year. Like if I were to sign up next to my physique from Miami Nationals right now, I'm completely blowing my other package out of the water. And with that, I already feel like a winner, to be honest, because that's something that I felt like was going to take way longer to achieve. And I'm already getting excited to make improvements for the next time I prep. What else is different this year? I think really honestly the biggest difference has been my mindset, and really social media. I didn't really talk about my prep on social media up until I did the Tampa Pro. It's just been really like nice to not feel like I have to comment or respond or answer questions. And I really, while I've been focused on my prep and freaking killing it, I haven't been putting a lot of emphasis on the fact that I'm prepping. I'm just prepping. This is what I'm just doing it. And I think that also comes with like having that lifestyle mentality of prep, and not putting so much emphasis on the fact that you're in prep. It allows you to kind of just focus on other things. So it's not this big thing that you're having to like worry about and think about all the time. It just is. So I hope that made sense. What is your total supplement routine? And congratulations on the win. Yes, I did post, I posted this one on my story. So if you want to follow me on Instagram, I can do that one again, because I got another question about that, and a full day of eating. People, I guess, have liked my food and what I'm eating. I didn't really think that people would care that much, but I think it's really cool that you guys enjoy me sharing my little recipes and prep food hacks, whatever. Next question, competition tanning for Black women. How does that work? Best way to do it. So after doing a couple shows and getting my tan through the host tanner, one time they sprayed me and I was so dark that I really lost all definition. All my lines were you couldn't even see them. And then the next time around it was whatever, it was a decent tan. But then I decided, one, I'm not spending that much money. Tanning is expensive to do it with, the show. I don't want to spend that much money to do a tan when I already have, some melanin, some pigment in my skin. So I decided to go, I use Pro Tan now, because I have a DIY kit that you can order, and it's not that expensive. It's I think the one I ordered is $45. It's the one show kit. And I do my own tan. And I like that because it's, one, super convenient. I don't have to worry about making a tanning appointment. And two, I can put on as many coats as I need to until I get the look that I want. I didn't, for this past show though, I definitely realized that I definitely want to be a little bit darker. I didn't realize that my skin is a bit lighter naturally in color. So I'll just have to go darker next time. But again, that's something that I can fix by myself. So do your own tan. And if you've never done your own tan before, go on YouTube. Natalie Matthews, I know, has a great YouTube tutorial on doing your own tan. Go check her out, follow her, because she posts a lot of really good stuff. What is your daily supplement routine? I did just post my daily supplement and full day of eating on my Instagram story. So if you guys want me to make a separate YouTube video for that, let me know in the comments and I will be happy to do so. When on prep, do you ever track your BCAAs if you're consuming more than one scoop? No, I don't. It's just not something that I feel is necessary to track for me personally. So yeah, sorry. Do you implement any sleeping aid products as you get closer to show to help optimize sleep? Yes and no. The supplement that I take, Core Hard, is not a sleep aid, but for me it acts as a sleep aid, and I sleep 1,000 times better on it. And I've had no trouble sleeping up until literally last night. I was just so hungry that I could not sleep, but I've had amazing sleep these last however many weeks I've been prepping. It's just been unreal. Core Hard it helps with cortisol and inflammation and stress hormones. So all of those, consequently result in better sleep because your body is not loaded with so much stress hormones. Next question. What made you choose to not wear your natural short hair for the stage? So I'm trying to grow out my hair. If you can see, my roots are grown out. I tried fixing them a couple months ago, and I went in to bleach it and my ends died, so I had to shave it again. And so I don't want to get on stage with something that doesn't look polished. If I could grow it out and have it all be one color, I would. I don't want to cut off the blonde though. So I needed something to put on top of it that's going to be a consistent look, and I wanted something that was going to look natural, and look like a hairstyle that I could do myself on my own hair if I had more hair. I used to have a lot of hair, and then I moved to Florida and I got really hot and tired of it and I cut it all off. So that is why actually got feedback from Sandy Williamson about my look from Miami Nationals. And if you guys know, I had the short blonde platinum hair and she loved it. I asked her in person and she said that it was just super cute and it looked really good on me. So that's definitely not something that I feel like held me back. But I just needed something consistent that I could wear for a while until I can wear my own hair on stage again. So that is all the questions for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you made it this far, thank you, because I tend to ramble, so sorry if it got a little boring. But I'm thinking of doing a vlog for North Americans, mostly because I think I definitely want something to be able to look back on. And it's going to be a fun weekend. We have a lot of girls going, and it's just going to be a great weekend. So anything else you guys want to see, leave it in the comments below. Again, I post a lot of updates on my prep and my journey on my Instagram, so if you are interested in checking that out, I would go follow my IG. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you guys